David believes in all this, you know?
Hear that? Over there. See? It's Santa's invisible sleigh. See it? And who could that be in the front seat? An elf?
It's Albert!
Hey guys, welcome to my SOFHAB Reviews series. This time, Rascal and I are covering the 2021 Polish Christmas comedy film, David and the Elves.
Yay!
Now, this movie is based on a screenplay by Michał Czernecki and Marcin Barzinski, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And it originally was released worldwide on Netflix, December 2021, and they made it available here finally this year in 2024.
Yes.
And it's based on a young boy who lives with his parents and grandparents in the Tatra Mountains. They celebrate Christmas spirit every year, and then they move to Warsaw, and they have a whole lot of experiences that are happening for them now that didn't happen before.
Right.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification bell updates on upcoming reviews, hacks, videos, and so much more.
yes, and thank you for joining us, subscribing to our channels, commenting, and so much more. We really appreciate you.
Yes. So, yes, this movie apparently came out in 2021. Why they took a while to add on here or for us to notice it is beyond me, but glad we got to see it. And originally we thought this was part of a sort of shared universe with another set of movies called the Claus family.
Yes.
It's the same country, but it seems to be two separate films, two separate worlds. It's just a holiday film and that's it.
We discovered it while we were just looking through what they had to offer for the holiday season and said, let's give it a try. The nice surprise is that it's wholesome, it's fun, it's got comedy and drama, and there's absolutely no swearing, no cursing, no innuendo. So this is safe for all ages. You can even have small children watching it.
Yes.
And that was a really nice surprise.
Yes. And after seeing a lot of holiday films that people churn out all over, a lot of the time they like to make them more adult or raunchy and stuff and say, hey, it's some fun to let loose for the adults. And most of the time people don't want to see that. They want to see something warm and wholesome most of the time. It was nice to see this movie had it because you don't get a lot of movies like that here. You may get one movie a year of that rather than it being the norm. So we're glad that we stumbled upon this because it actually ended up being a very, very good watch.
Yes. What really surprised us is this is made like Rascal says, I miss watching movies from the 90s because we've watched so many of them.
Right.
And I was saying to her, you know, the last really great holiday movie that's going to be a classic is from 2010, Elf.
Yeah.
They just don't make those type of movies here in the West anymore, whether it's the U.S. or Canada or Great Britain. In the Western countries, they've let go of these type of movies.
Yeah.
This movie has that spirit. All the way up through Elf, you can join this one. Now, I'm not telling you it's as great as Elf, because there aren't many things that are as great as Elf.
Right.
But it's got that same presence, atmosphere, vibration. It's a joy to watch. There's a little bit of sadness, not much.
Right.
It doesn't take over the film.
Right.
It doesn't become about death and all these other
Yeah.
things. What it's really about is David's parents have lost the holiday spirit.
You're right.
And at one point, his dad did believe in Santa Claus and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But he became jaded and he doesn't. And now David does. And he doesn't believe anything David's saying that's happening.
Right. And what happens is they kind of have their own version of like we have Elf on the Shelf. But, right. And in here, they are more aware of the elves in Poland than they are here. They're actually a bigger part of Santa's crew, like more of the forefront. You see a lot more in the workshop. They have a news station. There's always this one elf that goes along with Santa during the ride, like checking the list and telling them where to go, who the presents belong to, and everything. Sort of like it's keeping track.
And not a bodyguard like in Red 1.
Oh, right. And the thing that sets the film off is that David and his father end up unknowingly waving to Santa and his elf. And what's the elf's name again? I don't want to say Bernard. Albert the elf. And he's the most well-known elf out of all of them that is sort of the guy with Santa. And they don't know, the dad was pretending, but the kid believed it. And they actually were passing over them. And he said, hey, they waved at me. Did you see that? No, they're not. They just waved at me.
And Albert runs away from the North Pole.
Yeah. Yes, because
Santa
he...
has warned him.
Yes. And he, unfortunately, becomes jaded, too, because they started to have this sort of miniature theme in holiday films where, you know, and a lot of people do feel like this, where when they're growing up as kids, they had this really fun spirit of the holiday, the movies, the fun and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then as they're getting older, people don't want to have that warm feeling, or they feel like it's not worth it because people don't appreciate it, or they're jaded, or they got work, they don't have time to be happy. And he kind of feels like, well, what's the difference in him making people happy? These people don't want to be happy, and that's what makes him want to leave.
And it also says no one loves him. He doesn't believe anyone loves him.
Right.
And so he meets David, and he creates a set of drums. Mm-hmm. And the parents actually think, duh, that this kid went out with some money he got from somewhere and bought this giant drum kit.
Right.
And I mean, it's not like a little, you know, bass drum or kettle drum and a cymbal and two timpani. No, it's a giant
full
kit.
on, yeah.
And it's like, he's like, where would I get the money to buy this?
How would I
telling
pay
you,
for
Santa
this?
did it. And the dad is just, he's jaded. He's kind of bitter and rude. He's not mean, but he just keeps telling him to stop fibbing, stop doing it. And finally he just says, okay, you know what? You're right. It's not true. I bought him.
Yeah.
And the mom's looking at him like, I don't believe you. I believe what you said at first, that you've met Santa. And then the husband's like, wait a minute. I was believing and you told me to stop that nonsense.
Pretty much, yeah.
And now you want to turn around and say you believe it?
Right. And it's like she kind of regrets telling him all that time that it was nonsense and stuff, because now it's there and she feels, and it's rare to see this too, she actually feels bad. She messed it up for him all these years, especially when they get to meet Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Who Rascal said looks like
Mariah Carey.
And she does. I mean, her
hairstyle
and her outfit.
It's like, I think they want Mariah Carey to be Mrs. Claus, which would have been hilarious, but they did a look-alike pretty much.
Yes. And they're looking for Albert because they're worried about him. And so they start telling people they're plumbers.
Yeah, and for now, Santa did want to be a plumber. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, what kind of plumber? That's still cool.
So by the end of the film, there's a happy ending without spoiling everything for you. I want to point out, in case you're wondering, it is dubbed. You don't have to read subtitles. The movie is dubbed in English.
Yes.
And we don't know if it's the original people doing the dub or others, but it is dubbed, and you can enjoy just watching the movie and listening to it in your native language. If you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and watch it this year. It's a fun watch. It's cute. It's wholesome. It's not earth-shattering. It's not something you're going to go, oh my gosh, you got to see it. But you'll go, that was a nice movie. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, for some reason, Common Sense Media gave it 2 out of 5 stars, which I think is very, very unfair. It's not a bad movie. I would give it a 4 out of 5.
I guess they thought it was boring or something.
I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was too wholesome, too clean, too uneventful.
No, it wasn't vulgar or something.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want a raunchy Christmas day?
But it's not, and that's why it's a great watch for you.
Right.
We're going to quickly give out a shout to the cast. I will do my best to pronounce these names correctly. Cyprian Grabowski as David Kosmala. Jakub Zając as Albert the Elf. Anna Smołowik as Hania Kosmala, David's mom. Michał Czernecki as Peter, David's dad. Cezary Żak as Santa Claus. Monika Krzywkowska as Mrs. Claus. Peter Rogalski as Aaron the Elf. Elżbieta Jarosik as Mama Matilda. And Witold Debicki as Grandpa Ignacy. So, if you're Polish and listening, I hope I did a good job. Let me know in the comments.
Right.
But it's really a fun movie to watch. This is something different, and you will enjoy it just being something to help bring a little more holiday spirit to you, because the movie definitely does.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have seen David the Elves, let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it again, we definitely recommend you watch it. It's a fun watch. It reminds us of 90s movies, and especially, you can say it's like a cross between Elf and Fred Claus.
Yes.
And 90s movies that came out. That, like A Christmas Story, it's got that kind of vibe too.
Yes.
So, go ahead, give it a watch.
Absolutely. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notifications on upcoming reviews, hacks, videos, and even a little spoof here and there.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us during your holiday season, taking the time to have some fun with us. We always enjoy your being with us. And
Yes.
as always, regardless of what channel it is, you are
special.
special.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm Rascal.
I'm Julie.
Have a fantastic day.
Continue to be happy, healthy, whole, and also wonderful, my specials. See you next time. Happy holidays.
She recently started believing in Santa Claus.
How special it is to feel close to someone.
Ha-ha!